Page 351. For those who didn't hear yesterday's shiur, I highly recommend that when Baruch puts it online, you listen to yesterday's class. It was a different kind of class.
Really? What you talking
Page,
about?
I don't remember. Page 351. Page 351.
Should I start it over, the recording?
No, it's good. Maran.
I'll tell you later.
You don't have to edit out my sense of humor, bro. They already think I'm boring.
I don't think you're boring.
No.
Not you, that's why you're here. Everybody else just watching me on YouTube.
They don't think you're boring either.
Maran.
They probably put the speed up. Hello, this is my
Print
Alvin
some
and the
t-shirts.
Chipmunks.
I went to Rabbi Yoni's class and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
That's right. At least they got a t-shirt. Even I don't get a t-shirt from the Maran said that immediately after you say the blessing of Hamutzi, you have to
Eat bread, yeah.
But yeah, there's an extra book on the shelf here. Look for one that says Chet in the back. Probably underneath the shofar. Yeah, over there.
What page are we on?
Page 351.
Thank you. Oh, wow, I missed 10 pages. Whoa.
After Hamutzi, you cannot make any hefsek. You can't make any interruption until you eat the bread. Now we said that that's not true in two cases. The first case, when what you said has to do with the blessing, like pass the salt, bring the food, let him have a chair, let him have food, whatever you were going to say. It also doesn't apply in a situation where it's a big meal and everybody is waiting for me to make hamutzi. I can't speak between my bread and hamutzi, but everybody else doesn't have to eat.
No?
Now we're going to elaborate on that point because last night that's what got us on our tangent, which is people don't know halakha. Because people don't know halakha, they do all kinds of things, but you probably heard this like, well, if you, after you wash your hands, you're allowed to talk between washing your hands and hamutzi if it has to do with a meal. You probably heard that before. Where did they make that up from? Because we know that you're allowed to talk after you wash your hands. So where did they make it up from? They took it from here. Here is talking about something more extreme than washing your hands. It's after you make a hamutzi, before you eat the bread, you shouldn't be saying anything. But if you say, pass the salt, it's okay. Now, Rama says, l'chatchila, you shouldn't do that. It's only if you did. Now, we're going to have to understand, is it l'chatchila or not? Okay?
So the question is how that understanding for the importance of the time between the bracha and eating the bread, how that got transferred between the washing time and
Because they were looking for the definition of hefsek. So they went to where they found it. And here is the real problem of hefsek. There's no problem of hefsek. You can't just copy and paste halachot. You can't do it. You can't apply here over there unless they're connected to each other.
Is this talking about the person who's making the hummus?
Yes.
Or talking about the whole table?
Well, that's going to be our conversation. We have to talk about that. Right now, according to the Ramah, it's only talking about the one at the head of the table.
Oh.
Let's look under the two lines. Isur hefsek ben bracha letima, page 351. Achar shebirech birkat hamutzi. After you bless the hamutzi, yochal miyad. You have to eat immediately. V'lo yafsik b'dibur ben bracha leben hateima. You shouldn't interrupt between the blessing and the tasting. Te'ima, ta'am, tasting. Ve'im hifsik b'dibur, and if you've interrupted with speech, tzarich lachzor v'varech. You have to go back and say the blessing of hamutzi again.
How can you do that? Hashem saying the name.
No, the first time was saying Hashem's name in vain. This time is saying Hashem's name in order to eat bread.
But I think what he's saying is that how do you nullify, or because we said yesterday it's a very serious thing to say.
By speaking, you nullify the blessing.
That's enough, but are you still l'chachila held responsible for saying a blessing in vain?
Yes, of course.
So that's a big deal.
If you say Shakol Nia Bidvaro, come.
Yeah. That's
You did a few things. One, you said Hashem's name in vain. Two, you didn't make a bracha on the water.
Oh. Because something came in between.
So you have to make a Shakol again. The second Shakol is not saying Hashem's name in vain. The first Shakol is saying Hashem's name in vain. This Shakol is saying a Shakol so you can drink the water. Consciousness. Before you say the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have to think. It's one of the 10 Commandments. Don't say my name in vain. It means before you say someone's name, think about it. There are a lot of things you can't say in vain. Amen. You can't say an amen levatala. You know, you can't just say amen whatever you want. Amen is a serious thing to say. Sometimes Sfaradim will say amen all kinds of places where you're not supposed to say amen. It's a problem. Everybody has a letter about that.
May the Yankees win next week.
Okay, so over there. Over there.
Amen.
That's the question, what is levatala? But let's say you hear someone making a bracha they shouldn't make.
Like a halala, God forbid, for example.
Let's say you hear somebody make a bracha on food that's not kosher. You can't say amen. Sometimes, that's how Yosef took it to heart. It's not, I'm not saying I don't agree. I don't like these kind of halachot. Chama Yosef something you hear somebody's, but Chacham Avadei Yosef is Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Abadi is Chacham Abadi. There's two different names, two different people. Just make sure you Abadi, Ovadia, not the same. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you said Rovadi." I didn't say Rovadi. Somebody else said that. Chacham Yosef said, if you hear Ashkenazi make certain brachot, you can't say Amen, because those brachot are God's name in vain. That's hard. It's a hard thing to say that something that some poskim said is okay, you're going to say is a blessing in vain. I won't say it, you're right, because I follow Mahan. But that they saying it and it's God's name in vain, I don't know. But that's what he says. I'm just letting you know there is an opinion. So even Amen, you have to be conscious when you answer Amen.
So if a Sephardi says mizonot on rice, and an Ashkenaz hears that bracha on rice as mizonot, he can't say amen.
Oh, there's too many years of Chabad. Ashkenazim also make a mizonot on rice.
They do?
Yeah.
I thought that you have to eat it with some bread because we're not sure.
The Gemara has the conversation what bracha you make on rice. And the Gemara rules what bracha you make on rice.
For everybody.
For everybody.
And what's the problem?
Because some people, what is the definition of a chassid? Is someone who's trying to do more than what he's obligated to do. It's like, imagine you wear 2 seatbelts in the car. The police officer pulls you over for speeding. Oh, look, I have 2 seatbelts! I didn't ask you to put 2 seatbelts. I said to do 1 seatbelt and to drive in the speed limit, right? But that's how Judaism works today. I'm going to wear 2 seatbelts and I'm going to speed on the freeway. Yeah, and I keep Chalal Yisrael, I'm going to cheat on my taxes. This is the way that Judaism works today. So in this play, okay, well, we don't know, maybe mizanot, maybe hamotzi, maybe shakol, maybe that. So let's make a hamotzi, it will include the rice. That's not answering the question. It's not accepting the Chachamim ruled already about what bracha you make on rice. Mizanot in the beginning, and borei nefashot at the end.
Okay.
Because it's not a grain, so it's not an al michya, but it's a staple. The Chachamim gave it a separate status in terms of a mizanot. By the way, at the end of Reish Daled, Maran writes that everything that we're not sure what the bracha is, you make a bracha on. You make a shakol. Now we were just discussing bananas, so let's say bananas. Bananas, the poskim are not clear what bracha you make on banana, and therefore people make hadama. Why? Let's do this. Shakol in Yavit V'Om means that everything was created with Hashem's word. So, does that include every food product in the world?
It was good.
No.
Everything is included. Yes. Let's get a little more specific. Borei peri ha'adama. All the things which grow out of the ground. Do trees grow in the ground?
Yes.
So why do we make a separate blessing on an apple? Why should I say borei peri ha'adama? It grows in the ground.
Because the trees were in there.
We want a more
Apple is
specific
better
bracha.
too.
Borei peri ha'etz. Yes?
Mhm. Yes.
When we don't know if it's really a tree, we go back a step. Because definitely borei peri ha'adama will cover borei peri ha'etz. If you say ha'etz and the banana is really not a tree, did you get a mitzvah for this bracha? No. But if you say ha'adama, does it count? Yes, but there's a big machloket among the poskim. Maran says, whenever you're not sure about a bracha, what should you do? But he doesn't say go to the next generic bracha. He says go to shakol. Rabbi Yosef Masas writes in Maim Chaim that the blessing on a banana is shakol. And he fought with all the rabbis in his generation about this. How do you tell people to make ha'adama on bananas when the blessing on a banana is shakol? Because that's what Maran says. When you're not sure about the bracha to make enough food, don't say the wrong blessing.
But isn't it pretty clear that comes from the sun?
But that's not what Maran rules this way. And it's going to come in a different. I feel like I once taught the letter of bananas. Did we do that here?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did it
You
here.
remember we once spoke about it here?
Yeah, we
I must have it in one of my classes on bananas.
we did it here.
Somebody wants to do a chesed once in my life is to go through our YouTube videos as you listen to them. When you finish listening to them, just to write down the 3 or 4 topics that were in the class and add them to the descriptions of the videos. Just text them to me. I'll put it in. Because a lot of times it just says class with a date and it's Siman, but we could talk about 100 things that day. It will help those who are looking for, even me. This week I wrote to somebody. She once quoted me in a class. And I wanted to share that video with somebody, but I forgot which class I said it in. So I called her and said, hey, do you remember which video I said this in and where? And she said it to me.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Shakol is the more generic blessing. We are almost about to enter the world of brachot. We're going to finish up a little bit about meals and those things, but we're going to go straight to the world of brachot. The world of brachot is not complicated. It's complex. Let's use that word. It's complex. It's not something you'll never understand, but you have to understand it to know how it works. Most of us have been taught a very dumbed down version of brachot, like most of the Jews that we've been taught. And I don't blame them. Either the people who taught it to us were dumb, or they thought we were dumb. And it could be we were. It could be when we were little children in school. They didn't, you gotta start telling them now, treat that. Just tell them it's a mizonot. Sure, rice. Why I remember rice? Because I remember I was once in a bracha bee when I was a little kid. One of these silly competitions. Why I say silly? The world of memorization is education should have been dead already. It should kill this world. You don't need to memorize things to be educated. A person has to understand things to be educated. We live in a world where too many people memorize too many things, but nobody thinks about what they're memorizing. So they're being taught things, but not thinking about whether the things they've taught are actually correct. It's a problem with our world.
Right now, yeah.
And we realize it's always been a problem. Very carefully, the children, they don't learn much from that kind of education. You were forced to memorize all these presidents in a row. And now what? You know, rather focus on a few of the presidents who really made an impact in American history and what laws they passed and who was George Washington? Not George Washington in a cherry tree. Who cares? Every state in its capital, memorize it by heart. Maybe it's good general information, but that's going to be a test for a student. Why don't you teach students that live in New York or Los Angeles that there are dozens and dozens of states in between that provide things to this country that you don't provide? Maybe tell them where agriculture happens in this country, where farming happens in this country, where let them know about natural resources, natural parks. It would be an incredible thing. Instead of memorize like a parrot. You know, I was at the bird store yesterday to get my birds on food. And there's a parrot, and wow, it talks about. And I didn't know how to explain to him. The parrot talks, but has no idea what it's saying. I want to tell him, look, this is a Jewish parrot. It's like a Jewish person today. He speaks Judaism, he observes Judaism, has no idea what he's doing. We're all parrots. The Prophet screams at us about this. Mitzvat anashim milumada. The Prophet says that how dare you serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu just by imitation. Mitzvat anashim milumada. You learn mitzvot from other people. What about learning from HaKadosh Baruch Hu? In fact, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is ready to destroy the world because the Jewish people are imitating each other in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're back. We need a new prophet. How did I get to this? Bananas. When I was a kid, I said a bracha. Because I knew in my house, that's how we say a bracha. And it wasn't the right answer on their test. And they disqualified me. That's okay, but you know me. I want to show them. But that's how Sfaradim rule the halakha. It was so sad that, I don't know, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, I don't remember what grade I was in. 5th grade, maybe. That the teacher is looking at me, you should see, the Sfaradim say, and I see a glazed over look in their eyes. They don't even know what I'm talking about. You're a teacher? You don't even know there's 2 different opinions in this bracha? So why are you teaching the bracha B? Meaning it's okay that you don't know what Sfaradim and Ashkenazim do, so don't teach Judaism. Teach something else. It was I didn't know there are countries aside from America. Well, you're the global history teacher. You don't think you should know that? It's okay that you were born in America, you only know about America, but you would think you know something about Canada and Mexico too, no? I never went there. It doesn't make a difference. You're hired to teach a topic that involves you knowing more than that. This class was short, so we're probably going to lump it into next week's shiur. Baruch, I can't promise the same time, but they already heard about
They'll
bananas.
certainly have a different time.
This will be one of those jumping around classes.
So carrots